everybody, this is Robert with Sigma 3 Survival, and I'm here today. I wanted to talk a little bit about snaring deer. This method that we're going to talk about is a highly effective method as long as you don't leave the animal too long. One of the best ways that you can set up this type of trap is to go in and do your different tracking in an area that you know is a solid bedding area that deer are using on a consistent basis. And that'll usually be a thick area where they can hide out from predators and things like that. And what you do is you find different funnel points and things and escape points that they come in and out of. So you find the thick area, and then you find all the funnel points that come in and out of it, and you can set up these, they're basically just paracord deer spring snares, real simple. And you can even attach almost kind of an alarm system to them so that you know when the triggers are actually set. And something that's real important, another thing that you can do is actually push the deer. After you basically trap all their escape points, then you can walk in and start making noise and start clapping and hooting and hollering and doing whatever it takes to get these deer to move. And they're going to pay less and less attention towards, anything that might be along their trail. They're going to be trying to avoid you. So once you set up all your traps, you go in there, you make noise, and you try to flush them out so that they'll be pushed towards your traps. And this can be a very effective method. You can tie a couple of cans to it, have it make noise so that you know exactly which trap is going off when, and then you can go dispose of the animal. So right now I'm going to set up the different trigger parts. This is a very simple trap, can be quickly set up in probably 20 minutes or less. Alright, so one of the first things you're going to do is find some kind of spring pole near the deer funnel that you're going to try to flush the game out of. And the only real trap piece that you have to do any real carving on is just a trigger right here, and this is just a number 7 notch. It's your basic, notch that you see in almost every trap. And you want something that's really got some good spring to it. This is a large tree. It's a hardwood instead of something that's real soft, so that it's got a lot of residual power in it. And you want to keep this as 1 knot because this would be a weak point. You don't want to cut the cord here. A lot of people will actually physically tie to this portion of the trigger and then run another piece for their snare. You don't want to do that. You want to keep 1 continuous knot and then just have some extra length of cord. The next part of the trap is you're going to physically secure, and it doesn't have to be real super tight. Just take a piece of paracord and wrap it around and secure this stick right here on both sides. And then you're going to do one simple thing to that stick. You're going to carve 2 straight edges on it, one on the top and one on the bottom, in order to set your trigger into. And the way that it works is you're going to pull this down and hook it into this, and I'll show you all that in a second. Alright, so we've got the trigger mechanism set up on the crossbar, and something else that you need to do is anything in trapping, fencing is extremely important. And the reason for that is because you want to funnel the animal's head to where the actual loop is. And here's our actual paracord snare. There's our trigger system. Just a couple of overhand knots on top. Hooks into the straight curved piece, or the straight edged crossbar. Then you come up and we've got this heavy duty spring snare. You want to make sure that you eliminate any trees that it might hit on the way up. And here's our alarm system. And basically these beer cans are going to rattle around and make noise right after your spring snare goes off. That way you know which one to go check first so that the animal doesn't get away. Because one of the biggest problems with any kind of rope snare is that they will chew through the cord if it doesn't choke them out, if they figure it out. It's not a guarantee, but they definitely will do it. So hang tight, and I'm going to show y'all how this trigger system actually works. So the way this snare works is when the animal comes through, especially if they're in a rush because you're flushing them out of the area or their bedding area, they're going to run their head into this snare. And basically just leave a couple of knobby sticks on both sides of your bar, something to kind of hang your paracord off of. And make sure that your loop is big enough. You can't really get, you can get too small and you can get too big. There's a happy medium, but always go a little bit bigger than you would smaller for a trap like this. So what's going to happen, and this is slightly directional, they need to be coming this way in order for it to be a real sensitive trigger, but it will work the other way. After they struggle enough, they will pull the trigger in the opposite direction. So this is going to, you know, connect around their neck or their torso or whatever it gets, and they're going to stretch it out, and the loop will be a little bit larger than this. And then when it pulls, it's going to pull and tighten. And the whole purpose behind this is not necessarily to choke the animal out, but you want to keep them to where they can't break your cord. If we were to have this attached to a static tree without any kind of pull or anything like that to give the deer resistance, he'd essentially break the cord after a while. It wouldn't be able to hold it. So what this is going to do is help wear the animal out so that you can come dispatch it later. And this is a really effective method. I've known guys who would set 4 or 5 of these and literally catch 2 or 3 deer in an afternoon. And you know, you can put a tremendous amount of meat on the table with this. It's real simple to set up. It's definitely something you should consider for your survival toolbox. And you know, if you've had any experience with spring snares or anything like that, you know, drop us some ideas. Drop us ideas for videos to do. We appreciate any kind of commentary you might have, and the best way to help support us is by subscribing and telling your friends. Thanks.